iCarly, Big Time Rush, Victorious. What do they all have in common? If you answered they were all successful Nickelodeon shows, you're wrong. Well, I mean, you are right, because that is technically true, but that's not what I was looking for. There's something else they have in common. They all have their own video games. That's right, today we are going to be checking out the weird video games based on these shows. As you may know, a few weeks ago, I made a very long video on Big Time Rush. In it, I mentioned that at one point in time, these were the 3 biggest shows on Nickelodeon, and then that got me thinking that they probably have video games, considering a lot of shows back then did. Don't ask me how my brain made the leap from those 3 shows to they probably have video games. I don't know how my mind works, okay? It just happened. Anyway, I looked into it, and yep, they all have their very own video games. So of course, I checked it out, and let me tell you, these games are something. If you thought that the 3 biggest shows on Nickelodeon would have good video games, you would be mistaken. After looking into them, I knew I had to share them with you guys. It is my duty as the girl who makes videos on weird video games she finds. So buckle up, because here we go. Let's start with iCarly, which was my favorite show as a kid. I loved it, and I watched it all the time, and I definitely do remember seeing commercials for their Wii games. But for as much as I loved the show, I never played them, and I didn't have a desire to either. Now, having looked into them, I made the right decision. The first one is simply called iCarly. The game begins with the 4 main characters entering an online chat room and talking with each other, which looks fantastic. Now, you notice something weird about this fairly quickly, aside from the visuals. As you go through the dialogue, you'll come to realize that the characters aren't actually in a chat room. They are physically with each other and interacting like they do in every episode of the show.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Yeah, where's your voice coming from?
I'm inside the sculpture!
You're inside?
Yeah.
Well, come out.
Every single bit of story you get in this game is shown through the chat room, despite the fact that they're not actually in a chat room. They're together, in person, doing the web show. If that's the case, then why are they showing it to us as if they're talking online? Why didn't they just have cutscenes? Was their budget not big enough for that? I mean, iCarly was the biggest show on Nickelodeon at the time. Surely they can afford to spend a little bit of extra money to have some cutscenes, right? But whatever, this is what we've got, I guess. So the way the game works is that you'll get these little story segments, and then you play through the iCarly web show, which is just a series of mini games. And that's it. That's the whole game. You can of course play the minigames as much as you want, but the story mode is only about an hour long. Now, speaking of story, what is the plot of this game? Basically, Neville keeps hacking the web show and making it go wrong, which you can see beautifully represented in the minigames.
I'm sorry, I appear to have interrupted your webisode.
In the end, they hack him back and all is well. Okay, so that game wasn't great, but surely iCarly 2, I Joined the Clique, will be much better, right? Wrong. This one is somehow worse. In this game, you're the new kid at school and get the chance to be a part of the web show. You can play as either a terrifying boy or a girl that looks a little too similar to the Sam model. It's your first day of class, so you talk to Mrs. Briggs. Excuse me? Yeah, so every character that's not Carly, Sam, or Freddy talks like this. I can't decide if it's hilarious or terrifying. I think the answer is both. So after class, you meet Carly and Sam. They learn that you're a fan of iCarly and say that you should help them out with the show. You head to the studio and they've cleared the whole place out. They think that if they revamp their set, it'll make the show more popular and they put you in charge of it. From here on out, you have to run around this awesome looking map and complete quests for characters from the show, and they'll give you furniture to decorate the place with. As for Carly, Sam, and Freddy, they just stand around the apartment and say random lines from the show when you walk up to them.
I'm the best long divider.
Maybe got some sugar?
Okay, you guys are no help. Occasionally, you'll get a notification on your screen telling you that it's time to do the web show. You'll head to the studio and play this mini game. You use the points from the game to pick what you want them to do during the show, which is some really great stuff. Now that is entertainment. Okay, I know that they did some random and not very funny stuff on iCarly on the show, but this is just awful. Who would watch this? Also, not only am I running around and doing tasks to collect furniture for the show, but I'm also running the entire web show, while Carly, Sam, and Freddy just stand around yelling nonsense at me.
Wow, that's a hot smoothie.
You know, I'm starting to get the sense that I'm being used. So the more you progress in the game, the more viewers the web show gets. Once iCarly gets popular enough, after many hours of running around this place, you get the ending cutscene. During one of their shows, Carly and Sam say that they're now the most viewed web show. They say they couldn't have done it without us and thank us.
New kid! Thank you!
After everything I've done for you, you can't even bother to learn my name. I am iCarly at this point. The show should be called I Knew Kid. But those were the iCarly games. I gotta be honest, I was expecting a lot more considering how huge this show was at the time. but those were dreadful. After the first game, I thought to myself, well, it can only go up from here. I was wrong. Why don't we move on from iCarly and talk about Big Time Rush, because apparently talking about it for 2 hours straight wasn't enough for me. So Big Time Rush had a game called Dance Party, which is a Just Dance style game, but with their songs. Let's check it out. This game was a mistake. You can dance to a bunch of their hit songs in this game, while the boys do the same dance every time. And I mean the same dance. Let me tell you, they have some moves. Check these out. My personal favorite is when they do the windmills, because those definitely fit every song. So the game has a free play mode and a career mode. Free play is pretty self-explanatory. You just play whatever song you want. That would lead you to believe that career mode has some sort of story. Well, it doesn't. In career mode, you just go through all the songs. The only difference is that occasionally you'll change locations and some random woman will comment on it before the song starts.
With Gustavo busy planning the tour schedule, he decides to send the dogs back to their apartment to practice for the tour. To the Palm Woods!
I love how they're just doing that awesome move for no reason. Also, did they empty the entire pool so their audience could have a mosh pit in there? Whatever. I'm not going to dwell on it because it's time for more windmills. Okay, so Dance Party isn't great, but there's also a Big Time Rush game for the DS called Backstage Pass. Maybe this one is better.
1, 2, 3, all my boys and girls, we're gonna party.
Okay, it's not better. Big Time Rush had some pretty lame games, but if I had to choose between Dance Party and I Joined the Clique, I think I'm picking Dance Party. All right, let's move on to the final game of the day, Victorious, taking the lead. Now, I will say right off the bat, this game is easily the best one of them all. It looks the best, it has an actual story with cutscenes instead of a chat room, and the whole thing is fully voice acted by the cast of the show. It's still a goofy game, but I don't think it's bad at all. That being said, it is kind of funny to see videos of the cast talking about the game like this.
You can kind of choose your own adventure and explore the world of Hollywood arts.
It was a fun experience for us to kind of bring life to animated characters.
Go into the skin of the character and kind of play as them and delve into their world.
And then this is what the game is actually like.
Could you grab my hard hat for me?
Sure, where is it?
I forget. It's either in the music room or my locker.
So Victorious taking the lead is about the characters putting on a play, that play being Romeo and Juliet. Throughout the whole game, you play as Tori as she prepares for it and faces a bunch of obstacles. Now when the game starts, it just kind of throws you in there without any context. Oh, okay, I guess I'm playing now. So you learn from Psychowitz that they'll be doing Romeo and Juliet. Beck somehow already has the part of Romeo, but they'll be holding auditions for Juliet, and both Tori and Jade want the part. Psychowitz lost his copy of the script, so you have to search around the school for it, getting hints from your friends and completing requests for them so they'll help you out. Once you find the script, you take it back to Psychowitz, and then he just goes, "Want to help me practice my meditating?" And you're thrown into a weird rhythm segment where he dances around. Or, I guess, meditates. After that, you have to do a few things for Trina in order for her to agree to help Tori practice her lines. But then you just end up watching her dance around in a pink wig. Later, Beck can't get into the character of Romeo because he's sad, and Beck is never sad. So your goal for this level is to do everything you can to make Beck depressed. Then he asks you to help practice his Romeo sword fighting with him.
Hey Tori, do you have time to help me practice my Romeo sword fighting?
Have you figured out the formula of this game yet? In every level, you're given some sort of goal. You explore Hollywood arts to meet said goal. That usually involves talking to your friends, who want you to find things for them. And once you do that, they'll give you a hint about how to reach your actual objective. Every level is kind of a long fetch quest, which is fine, it's better than the other games, but it can get a bit old. I don't want to find your hard hat, Robbie. Why don't you do it yourself? Oh, and yeah, every level always ends with a rhythm game segment for some reason, even if it makes absolutely no sense for one to be there.
Take these cookies and sell, sell, sell.
Do we have time for some mime practice?
Something else I find pretty funny about this game is the way the characters move when they talk.
Come on, it's for Psychowitz. He's being accused of sabotaging the fog machine.
Why would Psychowitz sabotage his own play?
We found peanut butter on the fog machine.
What are they doing? People don't move like that. So Psychowitz can't decide whether Tori or Jade should be Juliet, so he plans to hold an audition off and the boys will choose who gets the part. Jade bribes them all by buying them pear pads, so Tori has to get through to them and they agree to vote for her. But then Tori turns into a crazy person. She tells Beck that Jade bribed the others and he doesn't believe her. So she records Jade saying something mean and shows it to Beck and he's like, Tori, that doesn't prove anything. Then she records Jade talking and has Sinjin splice it together to make her say, I bribed everyone with pear pads. She takes that to Beck and he says, that's just edited. Even all of her friends are like, Tori, what is wrong with you? Then the level just ends. Look, Jade did bribe everyone, which was bad, but then why did Tori go full crazy and edit her voice to say something she didn't even say and expose her to Beck? And she didn't even succeed. Everyone just thinks she's cuckoo now. What was the point? Why did you make us do that for nothing? Tori wins the audition, but Psychowitz thinks she's still lacking passion. He gathers all of her friends and has her give them things that they're passionate about. This makes them do really weird dances. And that somehow taught Tori to be passionate. Later, they're having a bake sale to raise money for the play. Tori decides to make cookies, and instead of going to the store and getting the ingredients she needs, she hunts for them around the school. At one point, she walks into a restaurant and steals their vanilla extract. Tori, you live in a beautiful house in LA. I think you can afford to buy the ingredients. Anyway, then Beck tells you how to bake the cookies while moving around as if he's in a rap battle.
After everything's mixed, put the dough on a tray and place them in the oven. Wait till you hear the bell, and then take out the cookies, but don't wait too long, or they'll burn.
Towards the end of the game, Andre is working on music for the finale of the show, but for some reason, he makes Tori tell the band how they should play. You know you picked right if all the characters start dancing when you play. This is a performing arts school. You'd think at least one of them would know how to dance. The play is a success, even though they look like that, and the game ends with a lovely line from Psychowitz.
Perfecto.
Victoria's taking the lead looks weird, has some strange gameplay, and can be extremely tedious since you're just constantly looking for random objects, but it's leagues better than the other games we talked about today. It actually has a cohesive story that is somehow less weird than the actual show. I can actually see my younger self really enjoying it. Now, is it as amazing as the cast said it was?
You can kind of choose your own adventure and explore the world of Hollywood arts and
Get to go into the skin of the character and kind of play as them and delve into their world.
I'll let you be the judge of that one. But those are the great games for some of the biggest shows on Nickelodeon. I've gotta say, with how popular the shows were, I would have expected the games to be a bit more polished and have more of a budget. Like, it's kind of funny to compare these games to other games that came out the same year. In 2010, we had some amazing games, like Red Dead Redemption, Xenoblade, Super Mario Galaxy 2, Nier, Lego Harry Potter, and iCarly 2, I Joined the Clique. And in 2012, we had The Walking Dead, Journey, Persona 4 Golden, Resident Evil 6, and Big Time Rush Dance Party. I am not saying that every game has to be award-winning and absolutely beautiful, but come on, you've got to admit it's kind of funny to see them side by side like that. But that is going to do it for me today, guys. Let me know if you played any of these games as a kid, and if they're at all like you remember. I never played these, and was shocked to see how decent the Victorious game was, and how bad the iCarly games were. Come on, iCarly, I expected better from you. Also leave a comment if you know of any more games like this, and then maybe I can make a part 2. If you liked the video, like and subscribe to see more content from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!